Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you inside Iroquois Park Sports Center here in Whitby, Ontario for game number 3 of this semifinal series between the Orangeville Northmen and Whitby Warriors. I'm Matthew Carrick alongside Pat Gregoire and our JVI Sports Network crew. I don't know about you folks at home. I don't know about you, Pat, but I've just barely recovered from what happened last night.
From the heat inside the Bunny Barn, or just the play
heat
on
in
the
the
floor?
barn and the heat and the action on the floor. Yes, all of the above.
It was such a phenomenal game, and it really embodied what this rivalry was all about. We saw the runs, the swings, the emotions. It got chippy, and we saw some great goals and some big saves. And you mentioned it, these teams just, it is always a collision course between these two historic programs, and it usually has serious implications on what happens with the Minto Cup. But here, physically, we know winner of this series goes to the Canadian Junior Championship.
We're underway in Whitby, starting with possession as they wear their white jerseys with blue lettering and work right to left already. We've got an Orangeville Northmen player hobbling off the floor. There are some banged up bodies in this series as things got chippy last night. And I mean, they've already played a full series and a full season for the first time in 3 years. 8-second count here on the Warriors, just outside of the restraining line. Over the top, Liam Matthews. He'll give back to Julian Belair, who played in game number 1 here in Whitby, was unavailable last night. He slots in, as does Jamison Bucktooth, which means that Elijah Edwards and Cam Sanderson are out of the lineup for the Northmen. The only 2 changes from the roster last night. Chris Origlieri remains in the net and makes a shoulder save off of Brock Haley. For Whitby, here's Parker Pfeiffer. All alone was Haley in the corner. They couldn't get the ball to him. And 3 changes for the Warriors as Owen Tapper, Jake Doolittle, and John Weller are out. That makes room for Michael Anderson and a pair of Green Gales call-ups. Ben Cromer wearing 32 and Ryan Olin in 33. Here is Bucktooth, who sat out last night, cutting back, and what a move right at the crease, but then in the crease was the number 1 overall draft pick.
Nice chance by Jake Darlison there. Just not the best shot selection as he hits Origlieri right in the chest, but he's been a nice little spark plug in transition for this Warriors team.
Ball down over on the far side. That was Belair, who's holding his face mask a little bit over the side of his face as Belair heads off. Lucas Littlejohn brought up the trivia question last night as he's played for 1 national championship already this year, trying to make a bid for another one. Michael Anderson fresh in the lineup on the crease. His shot goes off for Origlieri. Brock Haley. Of course, we've spoken many times about his huge regular season offensive production and how historic it was. That's along the near boards. Littlejohn unable to pick up the ball that's now still rolling out in front of the crease. Haley does pick it up and turns and fires, and Chris Origlieri will make another quick save with a man on the crease.
We talked about it last night, and it's so impressive what Brock Haley's able to do as he causes a turnover there.
Yeah, on both sides of the ball, Pat, like we said yesterday. Not just scoring, he put up a number of points in the assist department as well as he tries to get around Bucktooth. Spins and fires that one straight through traffic. Origlieri somehow sought to make the save right at the tail end of the shot clock, as now it's picked up by Whitby again. The over and back saved by Peyton Wallace. No pass for Riley Knox as we get a change here in offensive players. Jack Budway to the outside. Cutting back underneath, Gabriel Soroketti. He's filled in right at the crease. And the officials step in, who are, by the way, Brennan Hession, Kyle Krotman, and Blair Ferguson. 3 men who could be busy here this evening, the way things went last night. Liam Matthews down in the corner. Up for Trey Deer. Coulson is all tied up over on that far side as Colton Marquis returns it back. From the corner, Trey Deer, the around the world shot. Got in on net, but Deer was running out of real estate quickly. Under ball up for grabs, and Colton Marquis, the job that he did over there in the corner. As Bucktooth comes back in now. Nearing 5 minutes gone in the period. Marquis flips it back to Belair, kind of shoveled it towards the net and went just wide as Ben McDonnell picks it up. McDonnell across center. Scored an overtime winner against the Toronto Beaches in this building earlier on this regular season. And now getting up and hobbling off was an Orangeville player. That creates an opening and the first goal of the game for Jack Budway.
This is just tremendous ball movement by the Warriors offense, and this is what it's all about. Brock Haley, not just his goal scorer, but he draws so much attention. Look, as soon as he just half beats his man, there comes that slide. A little bit too early by Nate Ruff. Budway is able to get to the crease, gets in front, and scores. I mentioned it ad nauseum yesterday, Matt. Whitby cannot rely on the outside shots. They got to get to the middle, and that's exactly what they did in that play.
By the way, it was Liam Perro who we saw hobble off the floor, is still trying to get both feet under him as he's down in the tunnel. Here's Anderson cutting through. Took the pass from Adam Poitras. First touch of the game for 51. As Poitras sneaks around the corner and then got hit after the save was made from Origlieri. The amount of crease calls and close crease calls we saw yesterday. These two teams were getting to the net almost at will last night, Patty. Here comes Matthews, though, back the other way, and Liam Matthews on the doorstep again of Liam Wright.
Picks up that loose ball, though. It's going to be an extended possession.
Cole Marquis to the outside. Now Coulson has it. Cody Coulson for Trey Deer. Lost the ball as it popped out of his stick, and now McDonnell might go for a run again. Back pressure coming from Bucktooth. And they're high on the ball carrier. Wallace with a double team is late change coming here. Tristan Dempers to the outside. Down goes the ball carrier in a big way, getting up. Parker Pfeiffer trying to walk down that wall and unable to do so as Jamie Hunt just stood his ground. Nate Ruff slipping and sliding down there. Not as hot as it's been the last couple days, but this is a floor that does slicken up as the evening progresses. Here's Liam Matthews. Searle set a screen, now comes back the other way to do the same, and bounce shot goes off the post and up out of play.
If you're an Orangeville fan, you got to be pretty pleased that you're starting to see Liam Matthews come to life in this series. Led the team in scoring during the regular season. Not saying he's underperformed by any stretch of the imagination, but not putting up the numbers that we saw him do during the regular season.
Here is Brock Haley for Anderson now. Back for Haley, returning to the far side. Soroketti, and a rare miscue from Haley, who wound up the shot, had it drop out. There's more like the Haley we're used to seeing, splitting the defense, but Again, a weak shot that just kind of trickles in on Origlieri, makes an easy save. Trey Deer found Bucktooth cutting, but the ball did not as Deer goes for the interception. This will create numbers here for Whitby. Running in, cutting back, Michael White. He'll take the long route and give it off to the offensive players as there was no shot there. Riley Knox, far side. Potras is off the bench. Spin move there from Pfeiffer, over the shoulder, what a goal! Honk the horn indeed. Parker Pfeiffer makes it 2-0.
This is just a obscene goal from Parker Pfeiffer. Just even thinking, the spin move puts his defender on skates and goes behind the back. That one was so close to being creased. What type of sicko would even think about pulling off that move? Parker Pfeiffer, give me a break. The body control on the crease.
A pretty one from Pfeiffer makes it 2-0. As Riley Knox wants a piece, Lucas Littlejohn coming in on that right side. Here's Budway. Now for Brock. Haley finds a shot and it's off the shoulder of Origlieri. Picked up by Darlison, and Haley again went through the crease after shooting, so it will be Orangeville possession. The Northmen holding Haley to 3 points, and 2 of those, including his lone goal, came in the third period last night.
And not knocking the Orangeville defense, but I think a big reason for that is Chris Origlieri has his number right now, and that's certainly the case here tonight. I believe that was a save with the mask.
Origlieri's got a bunch of players' numbers going back even to last year in the bubble tournament. He's still got another year of junior left, does Chris Origlieri, already with a season of NLL under his belt.
We've got a ton of great young goalies in the OJ. There's no doubt about that. Will Johnson, another one who doesn't have any game action under his belt in the National Lacrosse League, but on a practice roster. So there's 2 right there, and he's another guy that has another year left of eligibility.
Here's Bucktooth for Jeremy Searle in the bouncer. The Minto Cup that you and I called, Pat, 4 teams all had a starting goaltender who was currently in the NLL at that time, and a couple backups from those teams are also on squads at this point. So once you get this far into the playoffs, it's, you know, they do say that you need a hot goaltender to get you there. And they like to turn up when the lights are the brightest. Ball works its way behind Origlieri now, trying to peek over his shoulder, it looks like, to see where the shot's going to come from. It'll be his left. And it'll be from Adam Poitras, however, bounced away from him and missed at the end of the shot clock. Here comes Bucktooth. Nifty little passing play. Bucktooth was on his wrong side, though, trying to get it to Matthews. It's intercepted. Jake Darlison and Tristan Dempers got their signals crossed on the hidden ball play.
Tell you, man, I'm buying all the Jake Darlison stock that's available right now. He has been so impressive this series.
That's insider trading, Patty. I can't let you do that. There's Pfeiffer to the far side. Just looking out for you, buddy, that's all. But you're right, the attention that the right side of this offense gets, I know you like Darlison. I've been really impressed with how Soroketi's fitted in, you know, actually kind of ran Michael Anderson out of a job on the starting lineup throughout the season. Orangeville looking for that cross crease pass again, a big hit off ball, which will give another chance here. Julian Belair was filled in right in front of the crease.
And I think that's a possession call that you're probably okay with, because there's a good chance you're taking away a goal-scoring opportunity.
Up top for Deer. Now for Matthews. Liam Matthews on the run. His shot into the feet of Liam Wright, who makes the save. 8 minutes left here in the first period, and Haley will come off the bench, feeding it right back to Little John, who puts it in.
It's a big play from Little John as he starts all the way in the defensive end. And this is what I love about both these teams. There are tons of guys on both sides that can play a little bit of D, a little bit of O. Great heads-up play, moves a pass. And Trey Deer just loses his man. Great heads-up play by Little John to recognize, okay, my man is getting caught ball watching here. I'm just going to sneak behind, get that pass, put it in the back of the net for a 3-0 lead.
Don't think I didn't notice what you did there with the big play from Little John.
I'm glad someone noticed. Both these teams, though, have to recognize, and I know they know, we've seen both sides come out to huge leads, hot starts, and really it's meant nothing by the end of the game on both of them.
Which really puts into play, you know, the conversations in the dressing room and the conditioning as you get down the stretch into that third period. And speaking of dressing room conversations, still no Sean Williams on the bench of Whitby. Understand in Las Vegas as part of his duties with the Desert Dogs.
Yeah, him and one of the latest draft picks in the expansion draft, Mark Glacini, were on local Vegas television. And Matt, I tell you, there's...
Okay then. We see you, Colin Barnett, although so did Liam Wright making that save. Barnett's going to get a few head taps here as he comes off. But what a move, dropping the shoulder right at center. Down on the crease, Jeremy Searle reaches in front of Wright, who's been solid here in the first period. Got to look out, though, as Trey Deer comes out, and they're late in the 8 count as well. Does get a bounce pass away down the floor for Adam Poitras. Off the bench is Pfeiffer, fresh off that beautiful goal. Pfeiffer again, a couple fakes, and then he got dropped afterwards. Kind of surprised there's no possession at the very least on that call, as we saw a similar play back down the other end.
Looks like the refs are just letting the boys play here. Nothing egregious just yet.
And I like that. You know, today's a new day. If you want to play like you did yesterday, we'll snuff that out before it starts, but I haven't seen anything that indicates that would be the case.
Oh, they're playing hard, they're playing fast, but they're playing between the whistle, right?
Colton Marquis fell over on the far side, and then a big pile up around him for that loose ball. Warriors just decided to wait out the shot clock as Marquis had a word or two with Kyle Kropman. And Little John is on fire right now. That's his second.
Lucas Littlejohn, what did the back of the net do to you? Slams this one home with authority. Just gets to the dotted line. And absolutely blasts this one by Origlieri, and the Warriors really coming out to a hot start here on their home floor.
Yeah, 4-0. Pair of goals from Lucas Littlejohn. If you had him in the pool, first off, you're lying. Second of all, I hope you got really good odds. Here's McDonnell. And nothing against Littlejohn, just not normally used to seeing that type of game from him. Here's Haley, works around a screen onto the crease, and Haley will score. Can't keep him quiet for much longer.
And if you're cutting up a highlight pack or trying to show lacrosse fans what Brock Haley's game's all about, I think this is it right here. Just blistering speed, beats his man underneath. Shout out for Jack Budway for that big pick there to allow him to beat his man underneath. But he just has such sneaky athleticism where he looks so unassuming at some points, and then he'll just make that cut down below, and next thing you know, if you're a defender, you're calling for help.
Look out, here they come again. This time it's Knox in the crease. 5-0 to score. And how about Adam Poitras with 4 assists here in the first period?
And just a quick note here, Matt. It looks like Zach Richards getting his upper. Oh, he just took them off. Never mind.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot to get a Wrigley out for me if
the uppers
I'm
are
being
going
honest.
back on.
Well, getting a workout in over there, I guess. As another loose ball snagged here for Ben McDonnell and the Warriors. We don't have defensive loose ball stats, but I have a feeling they are widely in the Warriors' favor right now in the first. Parker Pfeiffer, big fake pass, goes to Poitras for real, works off his wrong side. Now back for Haley, low shot. Mesh rippled, but it's because the ball bounced off the end boards and then back onto the net, which caught a few fans out last night, a couple times in Orangeville. What a great atmosphere, too, for a great game.
That was awesome. That was my first playoff experience inside the Bunny Barn, and it did not disappoint. Only thing I was upset with, I didn't get a freezing.
Those white ones were going fast, man. Shot from Liam Matthews, saved by Wright. In some Liam on Liam crime. Here's Little John looking for the hat trick, and a Wrigley full splits to take it away. He might get another chance here, though, Little John.
And that's vintage Chris O'Riglieri. He's so flexible. He's got great angles, but he's able to make those crazy athletic saves like that.
Haley will find Jack Budway on the crease. Bounces back for Haley. He's going to circle the net now. All kinds of time and space for Soroketti to take the shot. Bounces back for Little John and on the crease. There's a hit there knocking down Haley. So we're down past 3.5 minutes to go. This is game number 3 of this series. Game 4 will be Wednesday back in Orangeville as the shot here from the Northmen score.
Jamison Bucktooth gets inserted back into the lineup here tonight, and this is why the Orangeville Northmen went out and took him with that first pick in this year's draft. Just an absolute cannonade from the outside. I think Liam Wright maybe was a little bit screened by Carter Schott there, but nonetheless, a great shot from a young, great player in Bucktooth.
So as we said, Wednesday at 8, before it was so rudely interrupted by Bucktooth scoring that goal. 8 p.m. is the time on Wednesday. There is a game tomorrow. We will not be there, unfortunately, but Beach is playing in Pickering against Burlington, that game number 3 of their tied series after Burlington, a big win last night.
Oh, I'll be there, Matty. I'll be there. Unfortunately not broadcasting, but that is the home of the Ironheads. We're pleased to welcome the Beaches, our junior A affiliate, into the friendly confines of the PRC.
2.5 to play in the period. Colton Marquis, that shot, Liam Wright ended up falling backwards. Over top of it is down the floor. First touch for Ryan Olin, we get to call the Green Gales name. Here's Knox. Riley Knox in for Haley. There were a couple Warriors right on the crease, and they both get pinned along the back boards, but one of them went through the white paint, so it'll be Orangeville possession. At the line, Cohen Jennings will roll it back for Bucktooth. The lone goal scorer so far for the Orangeville Northmen, here in the period. Bucktooth tried that shot into the corner, but it just sailed high and wide. As now McDonnell will bring it across center yet again.
Always been a big fan of Peyton Wallace's game. He's fierce, he's tenacious, got a lot of athleticism, but tonight it seems like he's got that extra jump in his legs. He's been tremendous for the Warriors tonight.
Parker Pfeiffer. Shot there over top of the shoulder of Origlieri. Shot clock continues to tick down, now under 5, with Pfeiffer again looking for a shot, and Anderson was tied up there. Both teams will have 2 timeouts to work with here in the game. You can take 1 per period. As we get down under 60 seconds to go here in the first. Another period that seems to have flown by. Had some good pace to these games the last few that we've broadcast. Trey Deer in for Matthews. Took 1 step, spins back, now tries the swim move. Still can't shake the defender, so Julian Belair will try on the far side, and he's smothered as well. What an offensive shift there for the Warriors.
Just lockdown defense. And again, just such an underrated part of this Warriors team. Everyone wants to talk about the high-flying offense, but the defense has been so steady all season long.
Parker Pfeiffer inside the restraining line. Under 20 seconds to go in the period. They might take this all the way down. Haley out to the far side for Quatris, looking for, that was Soroketti trying to find Parker Pfeiffer on the near side. And that'll stop play with 4 seconds left to go. And I think Orangeville is just going to push the pace here. Origlieri is coming to the bench, making a case to start this in the corner, and that is where Trey Deer is going to get the possession.
That's the guy you want the ball in his stick.
Deer releases a huge shot from a bad angle, and Marquis swung first his stick and then the glove. Not sure who that is at there on the crease, but
it's Carter Schott, who has been known to get under a few people's skin.
Officials didn't look like they had a penalty there, so we go pretty much incident-free through the first period. Save, of course, for the 6 goals, 5 of them on the side of the Whitby Warriors.
Again, this is kind of playing out like what we've seen. One team comes out to a blistering lead, but as we know, 4 goals, absolutely nothing for Orangeville with the firepower that they do have up front.
And their transition coming into the second period, as we can always have to talk about when the Northmen play, and this is not a good sign here, as limping off to the room is, I believe, Liam Stadnick. Man, there's a pair of Orangeville Northmen limping across the floor. We'll get that story and more when we come back for the second period, which is about 9 minutes away, as the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League is presented by the JVI Sports Network and powered by the Dairy Farmers of Ontario.
Hey guys, this is Paul Dawson from the Rochester Nighthawks. And this is Dan Lomas of the New York Riptide. We've come together to create Back of the Bird, sports stories from the best spot they're told, the back of the plane. We're sitting down with NLLers across the league to chat about Junior A, Senior A, NLL, MLL, everything that goes along with it, on the floor, off the floor, and it's presented by Cottage Spring. So give us a listen wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple, and I swear you'll love it.
Like and subscribe.
Peace. Swipe up.
The Ontario Junior Lacrosse League playoffs are brought to you by the Dairy Farmers of Ontario and their hashtag Milk Up campaign. For more information, including recipes, visit new.milk.org. Quick start for the Whitby Warriors, who are up 5-1 after the first period. But as you said early in that first there, Pat, that every game of this series has seen a big first period for somebody.
It is absolutely nuts, and I mentioned it off the top that, you know, it embraces what this rivalry is all about. It doesn't matter what the score is, you're never out of it, and that's probably what the message was from both coaches. Whitby probably said, listen, guys, we know we can't just coast here. Look what happened. We were the ones that dug ourselves out of the hole. And Orangeville vice versa. They could say the same thing. Hey, look, we know that this can happen. We have this. There's a lot of lacrosse left. So, no doubt, it's what playoff lacrosse is all about, Matt, right? The swings. It's a game of runs.
Liam Stadnick and Liam Perro were the two Northmen you saw being helped off the floor at the end of that period. Neither of them have returned to the bench of the Northmen here tonight. Teams have switched sides, and the Northmen do get possession here. Remember, back to last night in Orangeville. 3 goals in the first minute coming out of the break for the Warriors as Jeremy Searle tries to kickstart one of those type comebacks for the Northmen, and Liam Wright is there to turn it aside. Well, my vote for first star so far, Lucas Littlejohn running that up over center. Pair of goals in that first period, although Adam Poitras bounces it to the far side. He's got 4 assists in that opening frame. Brock Haley turns the corner, takes the shot, and Riglieri, good goaltenders, always manage to get the ball to just fall right in that shin pad. Here goes Nate Ruff with speed. Maybe too much speed, ran himself out of room as he'll wait for the offensive unit to get on. Cody Coulson, and now Colton Marquis back to the far side for Liam Matthews. Marquis, low shot on right. I don't think he was even aware that the shot was being taken.
Scary moment there for Wright as he just recognized at the last second. But anytime the ball's in Colton Marquis' stick, you got to know he's a threat to score.
Pass to the far side. Here's Darlison. His shot goes well wide off the end boards, and this will bounce back over center. No over and back as Aiden Long is trying to catch up to it. Long does gain the possession. Cut back far side, Bucktooth. Now for Colton Marquis. Marquis cross floor. Matthews hard shot. Rebound bounce right back in front of Marquis and couldn't bring it down. So Ben McDonnell will get it and send it up to center for Littlejohn. Winner of this series and winner of Toronto and Burlington will go to the Minto Cup, which starts August the 22nd. Poitras all over Owen Rand here, and then ran right into the net. Liam Wright is down. And now back upright. Could have perhaps made a case for a couple penalties on this play right here. Yeah, maybe we're okay.
Yeah, and you know, the way that these officials have called it, I'm okay with that being a non-call there.
Thought there was maybe a little bit of a tug as Rand came across center, but back on the replay, second look, looked like they were okay. Oh, huge hit on the crease. The Whitby player, and I think Lee McGraw might be a bit lucky that that's just a possession call. Big rebound off the shot there. Riglieri eventually gets it kicked out to Donnie Scott, who runs it up and over center. Help coming off the bench here. Big high step from Bucktooth. That shot bounces off the end boards. Although right to Ben Cromer.
Ben Cromer's been a nice little surprise for this defense, picking up some loose balls, moving the ball in transition, not making many mistakes while doing so as well.
Anderson, Soroketti will catch the bouncing ball. But Origlieri there at the end to turn it away. Long pass into the corner for Matthews, couldn't handle it cleanly, and McDonnell, who's having a strong game in the defensive end, went after that loose ball, thought he actually picked it up, but Golden Marquis extends possession here. Pass from Bucktooth, around a screen, and Marquis will score. Do not let number 24 get hot.
If this guy's stick starts to heat up, it's good news for the Hornheads. And it just shows you how smart of a player he is. Yes, this is a great shot. Oh, that actually goes off a stick. It looks like as when Keaton Brown sets that hard pick. But what I was going to say is he recognizes that there's a screen there.
You're right, I think that's the defender.
And I think it goes off, yeah, the Whitby Warriors stick. But it, nonetheless, a great, smart shot, knowing that there's a couple of bodies out in front. Get it on net. And again, these Whitby Warrior fans have been fooled by the outside net once again. Too many men.
Penalty coming here. This is our first penalty of the game. I would have lost money on that if you told me that was going to happen pregame, that we'd go 24 minutes and 15 seconds without a penalty call.
Orangeville's bench not pleased with the call there whatsoever. Rusty Kruger and Andrew Suter both showing their displeasure with the call, but nothing can be done now.
Except try and kill it off. They'll send 4 out. This is a lethal power play, and as I say that, Brock Haley proves the point.
It's a nice executed play by Whitby's offense on the power play, which we know there's so many weapons. It's when you have your, that's a great job there. Once again, cutter right to the middle as Parker Pfeiffer gets in the middle, makes it look like he's a threat to score. Patras kind of gives it a little bit of a fake to the middle, and all that does is free up the space for Brock Haley to score.
Another face-off win here. That was another story last night for Jack Oldman. A big pick will be set by Keaton Brown. Brown has missed a bunch of time as well over the season as Marquis sends it back to Belair. Marquis took a shot after. Remember, we saw Marquis jousting with someone in that first period. Matthews gets taken down just outside of the restraining line. Belair gets the shot, but it forces right into a save right at the tail end of the shot clock. Oldman couldn't clear, so the bouncer comes back to Marquis and a fresh 30 for the Northmen. Colton Marquis on the outside to Julian Belair. 6th overall pick for Matthews on the far side on the run. Sidearm shot, and Wright will make the save.
And Wright's looking very strong here tonight. One thing he really struggled in game one when he had that early exit was the outside shot. It looks like he's tracking the ball much better. There's sometimes he's fighting it a little bit, but he's able to figure it out. It's a big, real strong bounce back performance for him. When we saw him last night, he's pretty solid as well after settling in.
Here's Haley around the corner. That shot off the end boards. Origlieri ducks out of the way. Ball bouncing right into the stick of Lee McGraw. His pass over top of Donnie Scott, and that was going to be an 8 count the entire way. They're not going to let that quick restart go with a Whitby player right in front.
And not just any player, it's Brock Haley.
Brock Haley, yeah.
Absolute nightmare for the Northmen.
Here he is again. Working around a screen from Riley Knox, who gets a ton of open space, double clutched and had Origlieri down, but then shot it into his midsection. Origlieri now trying to feed Nate Ruff down floor, and Ruff taken out of the play as he couldn't catch up to that loose ball.
Love the little hitch in that shot by Knox. Just a great read by Origlieri, and that's the thing. He might bite on a move, but he's able to get back into position so quickly and make those saves.
Coulson out to the corner, and the ball just bouncing around right now for Orangeville. Need a solid possession to slow things down. Whitby, Soroketti. Haley around a screen and a carbon copy of his most recent goal. You can give him the hat trick.
This is why it's not insane to think a player scored 74 goals in a single season. Because when you see him take the ball to the rack like this, again, it's another pick that he just takes advantage of, takes it to the net, and it's just a little flick of the wrist. He doesn't have the craziest release. It's just in and out of his stick, in the back of the net. He is a pure goal scorer.
Hat-trick Haley on the board again with 3 in this game. Give him 5 points as well. Soroketti and Cromer with the assists. How about the playoff call-up assist as we get a big collision in on Origlieri. Hand immediately went up from the official, so we are going to get a penalty as a result. Remember, Blair Ferguson did ref last night's game in Orangeville, the only one of the 3 officials down there. And Blair Ferguson, 2 for interference will be the call, along with Jeremy Bailey, John Vandergiesen, and I'm missing one, Brad Giroux, the 4 officials that will represent Ontario at the Minto Cup. Along with RIC, Ian Garrison, our congratulations to all of them. A good honor for the officials as well to be selected to those national championships. Here's Coulson, Trey Deer for Matthews. Coulson gets it again. Deer calling out the play. Coulson for Matthews, nearly got picked off as Liam Matthews goes back for Cody Coulson.
Great job by Orangeville to expose the super aggressive style of penalty kill that the Warriors have. Sometimes it works because they're getting out to sticks, they're picking off passes. There we see Michael White almost pick one off there. Again, they're just completely out of shape there. That's just far, far too long of a slide for Ben McDonnell to have to come back out top there. And Cody Coulson, we talked about it. He's not a guy that's going to fill up the score sheet, blow you away statistically, but he's a guy that if he can chip in every so often while doing the little things like setting those hard picks, grabbing loose balls, being an energy type of player, you're going to take that 9 times out of 10. And sometimes it's when those character guys score those goals, it sparks the entire team.
We've got New Brunswick checking in the YouTube chat room, which is always open if you're tuning in live. This is the only game going on in Junior A in Canada here this evening. Miners advanced over the SWAT last night in Alberta action. Mountaineers on top of the Raiders 3-1 in their series. Langley over Nanaimo 3-1. And how about a game 5 tomorrow night at 5 p.m. between Coquitlam and Victoria. You want to talk another great Canadian Junior A rivalry. Winner takes all tomorrow night. Langley waiting in the wings as Origlieri makes another good save. To be picked up on the far side and immediately run over was Cole Barnett after he did so. This is going to spark a bit of something over there in the corners. Trey Deer got up and got the stick into his man. Kobe Hanser and Trey Deer saying hello, but they will go their separate ways after possession awarded here to the Northmen, who trail by 4 as we near the halfway mark of regulation time. In game number 3 of this series that's tied 1 game apiece. Deer up top for Matthews, his sidearm shot. A big pile up in front as someone lost a glove there as well. Deer swings the stick at Olin, who threw the head back, and then Owen Rand tied up as, man, there's action all over the place. Nate Ruff can't contain Poitras.
I tell you, I think Trey Deer, when he's putting on that forecheck or riding, it's almost like he likes the guy to get a step on him so he can go around with that wrap check, and that's exactly what we saw. Guy gets a step on him, throws the wrap, boom, ball goes flying across the arena.
Yeah, why not? It looks cool.
Looks cool and it works.
Only looks cool if it works. I guess we should caveat that. Bucktooth, shot that went wide. Absolutely nobody down floor with Ben Cromer, already with an assist. Can he get a goal too? No, says Origlieri.
And of course, if you see a lane like that, you're probably going to take it 9 times out of 10. But if he waited 1 second, Mr. 74 was streaking off the bench. That could have been a nice little dump off to the league's leading goal scorer.
Again, Ben Cromer, though, a call up tonight from the Green Gills, so just not familiar, you would say, with the other guys coming off the bench and the tendencies of even a 74 goal scorer.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And the fact of the matter is, if you get an opportunity with a lane like that, you're probably going to take it. By the time he went to the net, you know, he was just seeing the open lane, not looking for the bench.
Shot does come from Haley, though. Already with 3 in this game, poised for another big night as Donnie Scott comes up and over center. Scott all alone, however. We'll wait this out. Pass up to Trey Deer. Deer for Matthews. Pass comes back, another big jousting match in front as Searle's tied up with somebody. Now a spinning shot. Off the bench, Coulson. Got the shot and his own rebound. Trey Deer will take it out of harm's way. Colton Marquis to Coulson. Quick stick, Matthews just missed. Coulson gets run over while the ball is bouncing up and out of play. And Marquis, couple chops there between him and White, who are still going at each other. Back down to our left. Trey Deer runs in. I think, did he come off the bench? Look out here. As now Michael White is fired up, and they're going to let this one happen between Trey Deer and Michael White. Couple big rights from Deer. Swinging his right, White might have connected. And now I think they'll stop. Pats in the back for both of those men. Ladies and gentlemen, we present you Whitby Warriors and Orangeville Northmen lacrosse.
That is exactly what this rivalry is all about. One of the top players for the Northmen, and Trey Deer, not afraid to shake him. Michael White, a big body, one of their top cover defenders, going toe-to-toe, a spirited bout. Both guys landing some serious bombs, injecting some life inside of this building as we're starting to get the electricity back in here.
Here's my issue with that, though. Trey Deer, such a big part of the offense. I know Michael White, big part of the defense as well. You could kind of wash that, but we already saw Liam Stadnick, Liam Perro, they're underneath us somewhere if they're still in the building. Trey Deer now gets the gate. That's starting to become a very short bench on back-to-back nights for the Northmen.
And no doubt, and that's a very good point. And you mentioned, obviously, how important Trey Deer is to this offense. when you've only scored 3 goals halfway through the game, you can use any spark. But you mentioned down 2 other bodies. And the fact of the matter is, Matt, you brought up a great point before that happened. I don't know if Trey Deer left the bench to engage, to stick up for his teammate in Colton Marquis. But it does look like after all this, it's going to be 5-on-4 for the Warriors. So the original penalty is probably going to go to Trey Deer, as someone has to go serve the penalty now.
Well, now that I'm watching it back, Coulson went off to get a change. So Trey Deer might have been coming
Yep. If that's the case,
on a legit line change.
Yep. Then that's going to be no problem there.
Julian Belair will give the explanation to Andrew Suter. This comes with 8:27 to go here in the second period.
And this is, shout out Nick Rose, some good general managing. Instead of throwing another body in,
I saw that.
we see Liam Perro, who technically is still on the game sheet. He's not out of the game yet, so he goes in and serves the penalty. Nothing against the rules. You can't do that.
Yeah, Jim Dasberg noticed it too, and he said, wait a second. My question is, in 2 minutes, what happens when the penalty's over?
He's going to have to hobble over to the
Yeah.
bench. So as long as he can do that, I don't think there's an issue.
Well, the way he came off after that second period, that might be the and a issue. Only 2 minutes up on the board right now. I would assume that's a 2-minute face mask penalty. Seven seconds have run off the clock here, so we'll restart from up top. 7-3 is the score in favor of Whitby. And again, this series is tied. Whoever wins tonight will have a chance to move on to the Minto Cup on Wednesday night in Orangeville. Our crew will be there in-house. 8 o'clock start time. Be sure you're subscribed here so you don't miss any of the action. I know there was some confusion in the chat room. A couple people thought we started at 7 today. Guess that all depends what time zone you live in. Bouncer there from Poitras goes off a Wrigley area and up out of play. This the second power play for Whitby. Brock Haley scored on the first one. An over-anxious fan threw that one back. Someone with a good arm anyways.
It was a little kid, actually.
Well, there you go. Sign him up. Pfeiffer. Over to Budway as they cycle that right side. It works its way to Haley as you kind of knew it would. And a Wrigley area will make the save. Colm Barnett.
Just looking at the game sheet real quickly here, Matt, it looks like they have that extra for too many men. So I don't know if that was just entered incorrectly on the game sheet or if that was what the extra in fact was.
Well, I wonder if they looked up and saw 6 on the floor as that scrum was happening, and if that's the case, that might be a problem for number 91.
Nothing's been reported yet on the game sheet, but as you and I know, that could come later on as the officials do sometimes add on those extras after the game once they report everything.
We didn't have it on replay. I watched it back, rewound the YouTube a little bit as Soroketti picks up this rebound from the Poitras shot. And you see 2 Northmen leave frame, and then you see Trey Deer run back into frame. So
I think you're right, though. I think it was a legitimate change. I don't think there is any foul play there.
Well, when it was shaking out, I did count 6 on the floor, which is why I thought Trey Deer might have left the bench. But anyways, game misconduct for him as well as Michael White, we can assume, 5 in a game for fighting. And Stadnik is going to try and hobble his way across the floor here. Doing a pretty good job on the 1 foot. Nate Ruff will take his spot as that shot bounces off the mask of Origlieri.
I mean, that's the definition of taking one for the team. You're clearly hurt, can't play anymore, but sprinting down, making sure that, you know, you're already short 3 bodies now.
The trainer in the hallway to meet him, knowing what was about to come as well. Shot and a goal here for Orangeville as they kill off the penalty and will get one back on the board.
This is exactly what is a recipe for a comeback here. You kill off a big penalty. The guy who was kicked out for fighting, who was sticking up for the goal scorer here, blasts a big goal, and Colt Marquis. That shot was so heavy, Liam Wright made the save, but it still was able to trickle through. Marquis, man, I tell you, he is just proving to be such a special talent.
I was getting ready to give a tip of the cap to Mary Lelinsette, the trainer of the Orangeville Northmen. She has worked not just overtime tonight, she was putting the boys through stretching exercises and recovery after last night's game on the floor in Orangeville. Ball pops out of the stick here of Colm Barnett, who had 3 defenders on him. Peyton Wallace wanted the quick restart, but wasn't going to get it from the timekeeper. Darlison, far side for Haley. Around a screen. Parker Pfeiffer, the pick and the roll. Play didn't work. Bounces back for Haley. No play, no problem. Brock Haley.
Running out of words to describe how good Brock Haley is at putting the ball in the back of the net. We'll see another great pick by Pfeiffer. Tries to go to the inside as Haley, and then again, you mentioned it. It's a broken play, but it doesn't matter because once again, these Warriors are doing such a great job, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Haley's game because he is a special goal-scoring talent, but it's the guys around him that are working so hard to set those hard picks, seal up the defender to allow Haley to get some space and free his hands up to get those shots off.
10 of the 18 runners on the Whitby bench tonight have now registered points of the 8 goals that they've scored with 4.5 left here in the second period. Soroketti cuts back in front of Origlieri. Got filled in, and Origlieri will give an extra shot to Soroketti. He's had 2 nights of blue buckets right in his face, and he's had enough of it.
That was a dangerous pass from Origlieri. As Peyton Wallace ends up walloping his man anyways.
Well, if the hit didn't fire them up, the goal sure does. Make it 9-4 Whitby.
A couple of grit grinders getting in on the action. We'll see the big hit from Peyton Wallace, who's been just an absolute menace on the floor. Finds Carter Schott, another defender who's showing off some nifty mitts there, and a great glass jump on from one of the, I believe, healthy scratches for tonight's game. You absolutely love to see it.
Well, on the OJ social media, you saw the Burlington Minor Association supporting the Chiefs last night. How about Haley sending one off the pipe and all the way down the floor? Warriors in danger of going on a huge run here to end the second period. The support from the Whitby faithful in full effect down in that corner. Haley took a hit in the corner, still picks it up. Couple of moves, Haley's got another.
Just one day, Matt, I want to be good as I just want to be as good as something as Brock Haley is at scoring goals, because it is just absolutely ridiculous. Picks up the loose ball, somehow gets past 2 defenders, a third, runs out of space, and still has the smarts not to just throw that on net, makes the quick fake as he's getting hit, and puts it by Origlieri. And now I think we're going to see a goalie change. Zach Richards will enter tonight's game.
Well, I would have got that one wrong too as well if I had put my money on a Zach Richards sighting here at Iroquois Park Sports Center. Nothing against Zach Richards, but I mean, you've been saying all series long, Origlieri, one of the best junior goalies, as we watch this goal again.
And this is the thing with Haley. He's just so fearless when he takes it to the net. There's sometimes where he uses that speed and recognizes that there's opportunity to go low, but that time there's a bunch of black shirts in front of him, and he still takes it to the net and causes damage.
They give assists to Ben McDonnell and Liam Wright, which gives 2 more players in the lineup, including the Carter Schott goal, points in this game. That's 12 now runners, as Zach Richards' first test goes off his arm. Interference call. Haley taking a few extra shoves. Orangeville still going to end up with possession, however. Darlison was in the vicinity of the indoor over on the Orangeville bench. That is dangerous territory. Hasn't been quite what we expected, as Liam Matthews will cut the corner. That shot hits off the defender and goes up out of play, but pot still just simmering, hasn't boiled over quite yet. With the big lead and one more game to follow, you kind of wonder what's in store as Matthews takes a shot. Rebound bounces right to Adam Poitras, however. Haley's got 5 goals, Poitras with 5 assists here in the game. Soroketti. Cross far side. Waiting for a shot is Budway. Got a couple bounces as that got through, I think hit the post.
And just because Zach Richards comes into the game as a backup, like, we got to realize this is a guy that played a significant amount of minutes for this team while Chris Origlieri was away playing for the Seals. And he's also the starting goaltender for the Junior B program and had quite the solid season as well.
I mean, who hasn't had a solid season for the Junior B Northmen over the past 15 years? This shot from Donnie Scott will go up out of play.
Goes off a white jersey, so it's going to stay with the Northmen here.
As we talk about the Junior Bs, won a couple Founders Cups under Bruce Codd, not on the bench tonight. Down to Matthews, slides through. They're going to rule that off. I believe his knee touched down in the crease. Bucktooth, a few shots, and Ben McDonnell is running away with the ball. I don't know if play actually started. The clock is ticking down. Still 2 timeouts for each team as we hit the final 90 seconds here in this second. Soroketti finds a man off the bench. Hard shot, Haley. That one goes wide. Leaping for it was Tristan Dempers, unable to bring it down, and that opens the door for Aiden Long down floor. Right with the save, but running into it, Nate Ruff. How about the hustle play there? May not be worth anything, though, as this ball is going to bounce away from Aiden Long. Long, a couple more whacks at Dempers on his way by. We're in the final minute of the second period. 10-4 for the home side. Whitby Warriors, remember, they won 10-5 here in this building in game number 1. Haley, number of moves, and hang on to the socks for now as that shot goes wide. Long corralled the rebound off the boards and Down floor, all turned around was Keaton Brown. Whitby gets possession and immediately calls their timeout with 28 seconds left here in the period. And Rusty Kruger giving it to, I believe it's Blair Ferguson. There were a couple of his players in the vicinity there, but they all left and his gaze did not. Speaking of former Junior B Northmen, Rylan Hartley trying to rally the troops over on the bench.
Yeah, Hartley just the epitome of another Orangeville Northman that has had success at every single level imaginable. You know, wins a Founders Cup, wins a Minto, goes on to the NLL, has a great rookie season, unfortunately for him. This season had some injury concerns, but no doubt when he's healthy, he is one of the most promising goaltenders in the game of box lacrosse.
So you got Rylan Hartley of Rochester on one bench. You got Joel Watson of Rochester on the other as another side story in this semifinal playoff matchup. Space opens up here for Parker Pfeiffer to the crease, and in the crease, although the ball did go in behind, Liam Wright remained in the net the entire time. Orangeville Northmen will still push, however. Colm Barnett, shot from Matthews, goes wide, and the horn also goes to put an end to this second period. 10-4. Not quite over and out, but a big lead for Whitby.
No, but if you're the Northmen, you got to dig deep here. You got to start fast in this third period. And the thing is as well, Matt, last thing you want to do is just pack it in and send a message that you've given up, you know, going into next game. You got to make sure you don't bring any bad habits into game three, or sorry, I should say game four back at home. There's no panic in this Northman team.
Conversation looks like it's going to continue between Rusty Kruger and the officials as they pass each other at center. But nothing more than that as everyone goes their separate ways. We'll do the same, but only for about 9.5 minutes before we bring you back inside Iroquois Park Sports Center. Whitby Warriors up big after 2 here in the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League semifinals, presented by the JVI Sports Network and powered by the Dairy Farmers of Ontario.
Hey guys, this is Paul Dawson from the Rochester Nighthawks.
And this is Dan Lomas of the New York Riptide. We've come together to create Back of the Bird, sports stories from the best spot they're told, the back of the plane. We're sitting down with NLLers across the league to chat about Junior A, Senior A, NLL, MLL, everything that goes along with it, on the floor, off the floor, and it's presented by Cottage Springs. So give us a listen wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple, and I swear you'll love it.
Like and subscribe.
Peace. Swipe up.
Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Games of the Week are brought to you by the Dairy Farmers of Ontario and the hashtag Milk Up campaign. For more information, visit new.milk.org as we bring you back inside Iroquois Park Sports Center here in Whitby. Patty, the Ontario Lacrosse Festival is coming back.
That's how we know nature is healing. When the Lacrosse Festival is back inside the IPA. We've got provincials back. We've got everything coming back into this building. Just one of the best times of the year.
Before all that, however, we've got a third period to decide. 10-4 after 2 for the Whitby Warriors, and they'll control the face-off here as well. This could be a bit of a long one for the officials. We'll see how it plays out as Parker Pfeiffer from the outside. Soroketti cuts back, it's hauled down, takes a couple chops over there as well. Haley, he'll posture up. Defender goes with him, however. Now Oldman setting the screen, the low shot. It's still Zach Richards, we should say, in net for the Northmen as there was a collision over there by the Orangeville bench.
Penalty coming up here, Matt.
Part of that, I wonder, is the, just 2 games in 2 nights and the number of players we heard from both coaches who are either playing banged up or might have been able to go but are banged up. And, that one just squeezed against the glove and the body of Richards, and we will get that penalty call. The officials go to their room and they get a chance to talk things over as well. So, this is a veteran crew who knows what's been going on. As I said, Blair Ferguson was there yesterday. We were there yesterday, so I'm sure they had said the same thing, clamping down on everything. Andrew Suter applauding the decision of Kyle Krautman for the cross-checking call against Owen Rand.
What do they call it? I believe it's game management. I think we'll see a little bit of that in this third period.
Not the most popular term, but it definitely does exist, and some of the best officials are the best at it. Quatris over for Parker Pfeiffer. That is a 2-for-3 power play night for the Whitby Warriors.
Pfeiffer scores another goal in this one. Not ugly. As he places that perfectly, and Richards had the right read, gets that arm down, but it's just on the inside of the bar, and Pfeiffer unloads a perfectly executed shot.
That, Little John just ate a high stick close to center and now goes across, and he's got a word or two for Kyle Krautman, and I think rightfully so. Orangeville taking over here. (11-4) now after the power play goal. Liam Matthews, a shot that didn't miss the side of the net by much. Julian Belair will run after it. Back for Liam Matthews. Quick stick for Marquis. Riley Knox gets an assist. That's now 13 of the 18 runners with points for Whitby in this game. And their goaltender, by the way, has an assist.
Is that good?
I think that's pretty okay. Michael Anderson across here for Pfeiffer. His shot. Richards leans to the right. One of those offensive players without one is Michael Anderson. We saw him take a shift there. Going for the strip is Pfeiffer, and got it. And the 8-second count as a result, and that'll bring the Whitby faithful back to life. We've had interesting noisemakers throughout this playoffs. We had the rattle going on for Burlington out in Brampton a few nights ago, and we've got the air horn tonight. I thought Hornheads were Orangeville fans, but someone from Whitby's got one here this evening, and it's been working to full effect as their team's got a 7-goal lead here in the third period.
Friends of the broadcast, the back of the bird, I saw they tweeted out, nothing better than watching playoff lacrosse in a hot, stinky arena, and isn't that the case? And it comes along with all the sounds and the noises as well.
Well, how many people get to do it 4 nights in a row like we do? Because that's, I think, where we've been is a tie-up just outside the fan. Jeremy Searle and Carter Schott having a discussion there. As this shot does get behind Richards. How on earth did that happen?
And this just kind of describes the night of both teams. On one side, you have the Warriors that are just getting every single bounce imaginable. As that one, I think,
it goes off Poitras, doesn't it?
Goes off Poitras. We'll see here. Oldman tries to feed it, and it goes off initially.
That
off
hit
the
everything.
sticks, off that stick of Liam McGraw. I don't know if it hits Poitras as well. I think it did en route to go into the back of the net. But that just goes to show you what a night it's been for Orangeville. Just not getting the bounces, just not their evening.
Well, they credited it to Parker Pfeiffer, so that mysteriously hit him somehow when he wasn't part of the play either. Turnover here, Aiden Long will run it over center. Long cuts back and finds Bucktooth off the bench. To Coulson, Julian Belair, the spin move. Belair did not play in yesterday's game. We were told it was family commitments after, for my money anyways, thought Belair had a very good game number 1 here in this building.
Yeah, he was great. Came up with a couple of big goals. Was doing all the little things. And you mentioned Ada Long's name there. Just wanted to make a note that, you know, with the junior A's here, plays that transition role, but started the season off with the junior B's, 59 points in just 10 games. Is one of their best offensive players. That just goes to show you how well-rounded of a player he is.
Parker Pfeiffer out of the corner, spins back out in front of the net, and shot ends up going wide. Here are the 4 Warriors without a point tonight. Michael White, one of them, so he's been tossed from the game after his scrap with Trey Deer. So we are not going to get the full slate here tonight as Whitby go back to work with Pfeiffer. Shot in on Richards, who steals it away. Kobe Hanser without a point. Michael Anderson and Ryan Olin, the call-up. Wonder, does the bench know those types of things?
I don't think so, unless they've got the game sheet.
Game sheet down on the bench. Jack Budway. You wonder if they would put the full lineup out there. As we're going to get another scrap here, perhaps, and well, only one willing participant in Jamie Hunt, who ripped the helmet off the head of Darlison.
And Darlison kind of asking, what happened? Why am I getting pulled off? Well, the penalty was going to be called before that transpired.
Here's why. He's running in here, and him and Liam Matthews will get started. Just keep your eye on that far side.
Yeah, see, exactly. It's before even Hunt steps in to stick up for Matthews. It's that high stick where he tried to kindly lift up his cage with his stick there. So no doubt the right call being made there again, especially considering the score and considering the time of the game as well.
think there's an extra penalty going to Darlison here as they go offsetting between him and Hunt. Matthews, Bucktooth to the crease for Searle, who scores.
Liam Wright asking to plead his case about a crease, but this one's going to stand, no doubt. As Searle finally gets this Northman team on the board. It feels like it's been a while. And this is just great ball movement from this offense. And well, Liam Wright might have a little bit of a case. That was a bit closer than I actually thought it was. Take a look here, Matt.
I mean, it's a 12-5 game. Here's Haley, again, sitting on 5. And that shot went wide. You hear someone yell, heads up. As down floor, here's Aiden Long after dodging that hit. And we get a penalty call again. That goal for the Northmen, by the way. 2 for 2 on their power play. Liam Matthews, 4th assist of the game as they'll go back to the man advantage on an illegal cross check.
And there's, not too many bright spots that you can think of for this Northman offense here tonight. We'll take a look at the penalty here first. Little John, who's been tremendous here tonight, they're going to call that at any point. The bump on the back, no ball in his stick as well. But one of the bright spots, obviously you mentioned power play perfect right now, but Liam Matthews with 4 assists. And he's a guy that certainly needs to get going.
We had the perfect angle for the change of direction from Bucktooth on this shot. By the way, the 3rd power play goal of the game for the Orangeville Northmen.
And again, this is exactly why Bucktooth is such a highly sought prospect. Great behind the back feed from Matthews. But this is what great goal scorers, doesn't matter if it's in junior or the National Lacrosse League or in the NCAA, it's the deception of the shot. He comes overhand, it looks like he's going high to low. Instead, a little bit of a twister on the end and fools the goalie completely. That is just a great goal, Matt.
3 for 3 on the power play tonight are the Northmen. 5 assists for Matthews. 4-point night for Jamison Bucktooth in his return to the lineup after missing game 2. Feed through there for Poitras. His shot into the feet of Richards. And in behind the play, Soroketti got taken down. And that's a shame because Bucktooth was off to the races all alone back the other way.
Kyle Crotman calling the roughing there. I think you could have called it interference, a couple of things. Orangeville bench not pleased with the call once again, but maybe they were looking for a possession instead of a penalty, but nonetheless, Warriors going to have a power play here, Matt.
They are 2 for 3 on the evening. This their 4th. Riley Knox setting up. They'll keep the big boys out there. Looking off Poitras, however, going here for Haley. Haley into the corner. Pfeiffer cuts back, and Haley gets sat on there by Ruff. Excuse me, Barnett, I believe that is. Ruff is out there killing the penalty anyways. Turns and gives a 2-hander to Haley. They want Knox to shoot. He does just that. And now Owen Rand going back after Haley.
Frustration starting to boil over for the Northmen. They take another penalty here.
This is Haley getting taken down in the crease. Keep your eye over on that side.
Yeah, nothing was called there.
I hope
Here's
we
the
catch
loose
it.
ball battle.
Here it comes with Ruff at the top of the fan.
And just a clear cross check right to the head. And that's the thing with the 3-man crew in the OJ. Little plays like that just will not go uncalled. Maybe when there was just 2 officials, it's hard to keep your eyes on a lot of the off-ball stuff. But when you have 3 officials there, you know, Ferguson, right there, he's going to call that, especially at this point in the game.
And as we've said all night long, this is all 3 are veteran officials as well. So Poitras behind the back. They keep Peyton Wallace up top, by the way, as the safety valve. Ball rolls to Haley after getting a reset on the shot clock. Poitras, Soroketti, Haley, Pfeiffer. Parker Pfeiffer for Haley. Poitras working off the shooter spot, and there it is. Throw the socks, take the pictures. Brock Haley's got 6.
And I think it's a 6 count on the horn after Haley buries the sock trick. And this time he does it with authority. Too much time, too much space, and that one kisses off the bar. Take a picture, it lasts longer. Brock Haley.
That was the motion over to the Orangeville bench. Brock Haley's got 6. Second on the power play, and they're still on the man advantage here for another minute and 14, and now up 13-6.
Kudos to assistant coach Kevin Jenkins, who's got the keys to the offense with Sean Williams away in Vegas doing his duties for the Desert Dogs.
Shot there from Poitras off the end boards. Goes up into the Orangeville bench. Good friend of JVI, Ryan McMichael, is shouting out Jimmy Pfeiffer, says get well soon, down in the YouTube chat. So not really aware of the full situation here, but we'll make sure that wish gets heard, Ryan. Liam Matthews over the top. Long shot from Colton Marquis in on Liam Wright.
Big shout out to the Maryville Marauders High School lacrosse team. Won the city championship this year, and it sounds like the entire team is huddled around a stream right now watching the game and hearing that they've become quite a big fan of the game of lacrosse, not just the field lacrosse game for their high school team.
Love to see it, love to hear it. As the shot clock will sound. Nate Ruff popped out of the penalty box door just as that happened. Looked at the clock, and yes, indeed, it was clear. So this is Ruff now cutting back towards the net. He'll pass it off to Liam Matthews, however, as we finally get back to 5-on-5, nearing the halfway mark of this third period. Colton Marquis dropped on the far side, and dropped also was the ball there for the Whitby forward, taken down, and that's Kobe Hanser, who is one of those players without a point tonight. Liam Matthews over the top. Far side, Colton Marquis. One of those players that you gotta stop every time he takes the shot, because you're never quite sure where it's going to come from, but you know it's probably going to be destined for the net. Littlejohn fires that down the floor right at the tail end of the 8-second count.
That was a beautiful pass, unfortunately, just maybe half a second too late. A lot of mustard on that one.
Here's Aiden Long. As we said last night, he's good for about a goal per game. Does not have one here yet in this one. He's Long out there still. Again, this offense working without Trey Deer, who dropped the gloves. And look out now. Everyone is rushing in to get in the corner. Liam McGraw took off first. And we've been headed here pretty much since last night. Littlejohn will drop the gloves here with McGraw, as well as big takedown there. And we might get ourselves another scrap between Aiden Long and Ryan Olin the call-up. They're going to go take center stage here. Main event time inside Iroquois Park Sports Center. Cody Coulson having words down in the corner, so a couple more players head off. Olin is trying to get look out here in front of the net, a big takedown. And we might get a goalie scrap. Here we go, Liam Wright and Zach Richards. And Wright is down, and Richards got a few extra in. Caleb Martin is being held back at the bench right here. The only player on the floor right now. Looks like Olin needs some repairs as he goes off his buck tooth. Only Northmen out there as they try and sort out the yard sale.
And I know Liam Wright's upset here as he should be. As Zach Richards geared down, didn't even give a chance for Liam Wright to get his uppers off.
Chris Origlieri is having words with someone up in the stands now. And Andrew Suter he was going to go and defend his goaltender at all costs. Origlieri has to come back into this game because Richards has been sent off. Yeah, we could have big issues here. I think this is a good time to promote game number 4 coming up on Wednesday night, Patty.
I think so.
8 p.m. start time. We'll have it for you here on the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League's YouTube channel. Be sure you're subscribed. Tomorrow night's game between the Beaches and Burlington will be played at Pickering Recreation Complex. That game will not be streamed, as we've been saying all series long. The officials have a lot to sort out here. And this is why.
So this is where we see everything start to unfold as the ball goes down the other end.
It'll end up in the corner. Liam McGraw was really aggressive this entire shift, and you can see him hustle in here.
As Jake Darlson, has not been a fan favorite with this Orangeville Northmen team, throws his man to the boards. And we get a couple of scraps here. We had a couple of almost scraps, a pseudo line brawl.
Wow, okay then. Everybody sitting behind the benches has to leave, and we're not starting until they do. Has been the announcement from PA announcer Mike Smith at the urging of Blair Ferguson. Does the press box door have a lock on it?
And I'm not too sure. And that's the thing, we're on the complete opposite side. We can't quite hear what's going on, but it sounded like someone said that something was thrown, and that's what the issue was there. They're trying to figure out what came down, what may have happened. Of course, obviously, this is just speculation off what we're kind of hearing, but for a fact, we do know, PA announcer Mike Smith said everyone has to clear out behind the net.
Behind the benches.
Sorry, behind the benches.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah, nope. A lot going on here, Patty. Don't worry. So let's recap for you. A big night for Brock Haley, who's got 8 points, including 6 goals, part of the 13 up here now. And Adam Poitras, a goal and 6 assists. No penalties up on the board yet. Liam Wright is putting his gear back on. So I don't know if he either hasn't been told or just doesn't think he's getting sent off yet. Zach Richards.
He showed himself the door after that.
There's going to be 5 minutes on the board on the side of Orangeville here. And they want someone to come over and serve. And Liam Perro is going to do yeoman's work again, trying to get across the floor to do just that. The way he's walking, I want to say no, but something tells me you're going to see Liam Perro on Wednesday night. Like, you get that feeling that.
Well, he's been willing to continue to hobble back and forth. We've seen him walk around, go across the rink, and that's just a big team guy. But you're right. It feels like if he's able to move a little bit better than he has been able to walking and jogging across the floor, wouldn't be surprised. There's guys that, in the playoffs, play through injuries, play through being hurt, banged up, tends to happen. But looking at the bench right now, Matt, not a lot of bodies on either side.
Seven on the side of Orangeville and 9 out there for the Whitby Warriors. 3 Northmen in the box. And will be 5-on-3 down on the floor with a 5-minute and a 2-minute penalty up on the board. Good luck to you, Chris Main. Who, by the way, is wearing a hoodie and track pants here at Whitby Arena.
He's built different, man.
Number of moves for Pfeiffer on the doorstep of, again, Chris Origlieri. Zach Richards standing in the tunnel right underneath our broadcast position. His evening done. And Mary Lalincette has come over to check on all those combatants. Soroketti is going to get sent off here for a cross check.
Liam Matthews went over to Kyle Crompton and said, me? He said, no.
Well, Matthews did give a couple extra chops. This will make us, oh boy, math is hard. 4-on-3. I think I got there.
Don't look at me. I'm not the math guy. I'm not the numbers guy. Everyone knows this.
Just because it's in my name doesn't mean I'm good at it.
I tell you, there's still only 8 minutes left. Something still could happen.
Colton Marquis.
But man, if you thought that because with the COVID layoff and not a lot of bodies playing against each other in the past, if you thought this rivalry was done, boy, tonight is proof in the pudding. These two teams do not like each other.
10th time they meet in the playoffs. 3rd time, if I'm not mistaken, that the right to go to the Minto Cup is on the line. And they did meet once in the Minto Cup in this building in 2012. Parker Pfeiffer trying to get it back there for Haley. Orangeville does lead the all-time series 6-3. Although it looks like after tonight they may be down 2-1. Adam Poitras, far side, bounces that one wide of Origlieri. I think anyone that would have wanted to drop the mitts probably had their chance here tonight. Although, as you say, still 7 minutes to go.
Wouldn't speak too soon.
Caleb Martin looked like he was a willing combatant over on that bench. Bucktooth. Okay, never mind. I take it back. The two-hander from Bucktooth proved otherwise.
And again, Liam Perro just sprinting as much as you could sprint on one leg after that penalty expires.
Here's Parker Pfeiffer chasing it down in the corner. And I mean, I know there's only two other offensive bodies. I'm a little bit surprised that Brock Haley's still out there. Save from Liam Wright off the stick of Colin Barnett. 2:21 to go on the power play of that, which is major power play time. So chance to get 2 goals on the board. And at least two of the players without points have been tossed from this game in White and Olam. Haley. His shot hit a defender in front and then rolled harmlessly in on Origlieri. Coulson tripped up right there at center as ball bouncing down. It's still going to be corralled by Colton Marquis, and that floor is slicking up down there, it looks like. Coulson is doubled over on the bench now. I think perhaps just tying his shoe. Thought there was a injury. There is a penalty coming to Orangeville, however, as Wright has made his way back to the bench again. Up top, Haley. Knox will shoot through traffic, and Soroketi's been drawing a lot of attention lately.
Liam Matthews here again, another frustration penalty, running to the bench. Throws that slash at Soroketi, and you mentioned it, man, like, no love lost between these teams, but there's certain guys on each team. It doesn't look like they're doing much, but then again, we're not on the floor. We can't hear if there's some sneaky chirping going on, but whatever it is, Soroketi seems to be getting under the skin of a lot of these Northmen players.
Well, I go back to last night as well when Whitby was all over Cam Sanderson for whatever reason that was all about. Cam Sanderson making his return to the lineup in game number 2, not in tonight, as he has been injured down the stretch for Orangeville. Whitby will get the turnover here. Here's Haley. Does he got 7 in him? Not this time. It sounded like that rattled off the cage. Big paddle coming out for Origlieri to help go after that loose ball. Under 5 minutes to play. Still 5-on-3 in favor of Whitby now. On the crease, Anderson. One of those players that we're waiting to get the points here. Had it bounce off Origlieri and right back to Parker Pfeiffer. One of the penalties is about to expire. Julian Belair is back on the floor. I believe he was serving the 5-minute major. Anderson on the crease, and Origlieri will make the save. Here's Belair with a head of steam. He'll pass it up to Cohen Jennings, and a bit of the air gone out of this game, but you look at a player like Julian Belair, who is a draft pick out of Gloucester. This is a big chance right now. You're going to get your touches, so what can you do with them? As if the Orangeville coaching staff weren't already impressed with the young man's performance here in the playoffs.
Yeah, that game 1, he was super impressive, and unfortunate for him not to be in the lineup last game, but from what we've seen, and I know there's not a ton of bright spots that this coaching staff is going to have with the offense, but he certainly was one of them.
Anderson to the corner, dancing around there was Soroketi. Shot clock violation will send Orangeville back the other way, and we finally get back to 5-on-5 with 3 minutes to go here in the period. Coulson back out there, the shot bounces off of Wright and picked up here by the Warriors. Carter shot. He's going to take it all the way, and a nice back check from Liam Matthews. Poked it free. Cohen Jennings stops up, still with the ball. Jennings to the restraining line for Matthews. Looking ahead to Wednesday night. You hope that everything that's on the game sheet is as far as we get in terms of players and penalties are concerned.
I mean, with both teams dealing with injuries and guys banged up, last thing you want to see from at least a viewer's standpoint is see suspensions handed out. You want to see the best on best.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to a great rivalry like Whitby and Orangeville.
Well, and especially considering the game that we saw last night, if they can duplicate that at all throughout this series, even come anywhere close. Big hard step on the far side. That one from Darlison. Off the end boards. Orangeville will get it back, but yeah, we look ahead to that game. The two games here have been big wins for Whitby and a tight game, and you said it right at the end, instant classic in Orangeville last night, and the story kind of writes itself as we get into Wednesday.
Orangeville, they're a different team inside that building. They get the fans behind them. They know how to play well. That second period is just plays so well to the way that they push the ball in transition. You know, obviously this coaching staff's going to be disappointed with the result, but certainly I don't think there's any sort of panic in this locker room. Sure, there'll be some urgency to come out hot at Tony Rose Arena on Wednesday, but they know that they can tie things up and send this to a Game 5.
Gary, I see your comment, and I appreciate it, by the way. Tomorrow night, we encourage you to get to Pickering, as we will not be broadcasting that game. The Beaches and the Burlington Chiefs, the series tied 1-1. That'll be game number 3 at 8 p.m. tomorrow night at Pickering Recreation Complex. Before we bring you game number 4 of this series on Wednesday night, also 8 p.m., Orangeville will host Whitby in that game, as it looks like we're in dribble it out mode, as it were, after an eventful night here at Iroquois Park Sports Center. Sticks are out over on the Whitby sidelines. Horns are out from the Whitby fans in attendance, as their boys are one win away from clinching a berth in the Minto Cup. They can do it as soon as Wednesday night. They win here tonight, 13-6.
An impressive victory from the Whitby Warriors. Their offense was electric. The defense was stout. Liam Wright was strong in between the pipes. We've got some fireworks as well, Matt, but you've got to realize when these two teams meet, it is not over until the final horn of the elimination game is over. We're in for a great game on Wednesday night in Orangeville.
Yeah, and perhaps all of that now out of the system, and we can get back to just simply playing the game, and we can have another perhaps repeat of what we saw last night. Once again, there is a game tomorrow. We will not have it for you. It's in Pickering, Toronto Beaches, Burlington Chiefs at 8 p.m. If you want to see it, you got to be there in person. I know Pat said he'll already be there and signing autographs at halftime. What's happening there, Pat?
Get out of here.
Okay.
Get out of here.
We'll do just that after we remind you one final time to subscribe to this channel, because that's where you can catch game number 4 of this series. Whitby now leads it 2-1. Orangeville will have home floor advantage, however, and hope that they can extend their season by one more game Wednesday at 8 p.m. On behalf of my partner, Pat Gregoire, our director tonight, Chris Main, our producer, Gary Morrison, the rest of the JVI Sports Network, and the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League, we thank you for tuning in tonight. Enjoy the day tomorrow, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday.